I logged into social media today, and the first thing I see is everyone with pitchforks out and yelling at Hakeem Jefferies. I said, now what did he do now? Y'all stay mad at that man. So this time it's because he met with Jared Kushner and they were looking for common ground, things they could figure out how to work together on. I have issues with that. More on that in a second. But typically, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When I think of the list of things that really piss me off that I want to organize around and spend my energy invested in changing in this current administration, Hakeem Jefferies is just not one of them for me. I know that people like, he's not a good leader. And when I ask people to expand on that, I think sometimes when I'm talking to some folks, they don't really understand what the minority leader can do when they don't have the White House, they don't have the House, he's not the Speaker of the House, and they don't have the Senate. It's just like, so when I'm listening to y'all, I'm like, this just sounds more performative to me. I don't really know what y'all want him to do. So I typically just I'm more indifferent to it. Do I understand the critiques? Yes. But all the energy behind it and spending time focusing on that when we got a list of other things we can be matter about, that's where I'm at. And then the thing I really don't like, whenever y'all try to put forward somebody to replace him, y'all always pick a black woman. And I don't like that. Y'all think y'all slick. Y'all think y'all slick. There's a tokenism piece to that. There's well, listen, I don't dislike him because he's black. Look, I'm picking this black woman. And you are putting black members of Congress in a really odd position when you all do that. I cannot see a Lauren Underwood, a Ayanna Pressley challenging the man who was set to be the first black Speaker of the House. Like, that's just, there's some things, and to do it at the behest of people outside of our community who are yelling about him, just can't see that happening. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The Jared Kushner situation. Here's my thing. Jared Kushner does not currently have an official role in the administration. Him and his wife went running because they thought the clank was coming. He lined his pockets and he went out the way. But we know that he does like back deals and he still gets involved, but he's typically involved when there's some personal benefit to him. Jared Kushner does not operate based off of love of country. I mean, nobody in this administration, none of them do, truly. But we know for a fact that he does not. I also don't like the idea of legitimizing Jared Kushner as some type of power broker, right? He's not official. Even when they were official, him and his wife as advisors, that was already going against like ethical kind of standards that we've had going back after like the Kennedy administration, where members of the family do not serve an official capacity beyond being first lady. So they gone, let's leave them gone. That's probably my biggest issue. Now, some people are like, listen, at the end of the day, if we are most positioned to win the House, I think we're going to see some seats flip across this country that people were not prepared to flip, and that locals know about, but people were not prepared to flip. And so I think the House, knock on wood, the House is pretty solid. The Senate could absolutely flip. My spirit just tells me we're going to have a flip that wasn't on the national radar. And I'm thinking like even Senate seats. Like it could be something like Mississippi, Arkansas, all these different places, Florida, all these different places. Y'all gonna say, why didn't you mention Texas? Because y'all have Texas on your radar as flippable, even though people still debate that. It's going to be some place that's not on the national radar. With all these different things, they could get the Senate, they could get the House, and they still not gonna have the White House, and they're still not gonna have the Supreme Court. So they're gonna have to figure out a way to kind of work together in some ways if they want to get anything done, or just basically be a defensive person. And I'm with the defensive thing, but I know that messaging around defense is very difficult for low propensity voters. So they understand they understand like positive changes in my life, not that you prevented something. People can't always comprehend that, they blocked him from continuing to go to war with Iran and this benefited you through gas prices. People can't always connect those things like that. They want to see like, okay, you did all these different things, or we got a stimulus check or what have you. And so that could be a problem for them going into 2028. So I could see that piece, but I just don't think that, and part of his job, y'all, part of the job of a leader is to work with the other side. I know that pains people, but that's part of the job. That's what I saw the guy that's running for governor, the Democratic candidate in Iowa, talk about. He's like, I'm just trying to manage expectations here. Please know if I win, I'm going to work with Republicans. Like that's part of the job. I'm not walking in with we're not taking over the House, the state House and state Senate. We're not doing that. So I'm gonna have to work with them, and I think that's part of the people who are agreeing with it. So I get that part. My issue is Jared Kushner would not be the person I'm working with. That's my biggest issue. I think we should not be legitimizing this nepotism situation that got going on in this White House. And we certainly should not be giving Jared Kushner another path to line his pockets through working with Democrats, because there's always a money thing for Jared Kushner. He's an awful person. They are slumlords, him and his family. You look at what his father did, and we got him in prison. Awful people. And we should not be bringing them into the fold and trying to have like productive conversation with them about this country. They don't love this country. They love their pockets. I'm going to keep saying that.